Welcome everybody, Red Arrow 23 here, time for another addition to the Boom Beach Playbook. Today we're going to be doing rushing the front two left shields on Strategize. Let's boom this beach! So as you can see, Dead Sunday, aka me, is going to show you this one. So we'll have a quick look through the entire attack. So yeah, we're going to be rushing these two shields on the left. So first thing we want to do is clear out the mines, and then we can do a nice flare landing. Depending on the health of the shield, I chose to bring 6 boats and brick, but it also depends on the health of the shields to make sure you can get them all down within 1 round of shocks. And then we send out a bunch of shocks, reflare, and it goes down. So that was the main objective of the hit, and then because we are smart, we look ahead towards the next hit and just drop some greens, clear out some cannons, use that GBE to clear out some mines. Just the one shock mine left there. Why are we not in 4 times speed watching grenadiers? And there you go. So that's pretty much it. I think we did 1 art on the shock mine, and we might have got 1 extra, and I think we put it on the top left shield generator because there was nothing else really that constructive to do with it. I did get a barrage amount of GBE, but I didn't want to tag all of the machine guns and things to mess with the spread for their next attacker, so I just threw a couple of artilleries on there. There we go, and then we just cleaned up those cannons, so it's a little bit cleaner on the beach. Would have been great if we got the machine guns as well, but that's all good. So let's break it down a little bit slower. That's the hit in total. As you can see, 4 minutes on the clock. You won't need that much at all for the whole hit. That was just because we had greens just outranging defenses. So there you can see we've got 4 mines right by the beach. I chose to use 2 artillery, so if you get right in between those 2 mines, you should be able to take out all 4 and 2 artillery. And then we chose to use a barrage centered, so we kind of want to get rid of this mine and the shock mine as well, so that worked out really well. We could obviously leave 1 of those regular mines, but not with the shock mine, because if the shock mine goes off and the regular mine goes off, we can't take both of those lots of damage. Sometimes they're all regular mines or boom mines, whatever. You just need to know which mines you want to clear. I used a barrage, it worked out really well. So there you go, and then we're going to go for a flare landing. As I said before, you need to calculate the damage that you can get on these shield generators, noting that flare has to be super quick for the second shield generator. You can use all 8 boats. It's a little bit harder to land. You might need to use 3 smokes on the landing. So the main reason that we would even be going for this hit is because we have splash damage defense in range of the beach. Otherwise we might go for, if it was only like these 2 rocket launchers, we might UR them and then just use grenadiers and just clear out this whole area. But because this laser is going to come into range and then these rocket launchers are going to come into range, it makes a lot more sense just to rush them. So that's sort of the overarching idea. We can usually take them out with 6 boats of Zookas, but yep, do your math. But it works out most of the time for us, full boosted in massive attack or forlorn hope, I believe, but I double check it. So we get the two smoke flare landing, should be pretty easy with 6 boats, and then so once we get to that, once we've landed all 6 boats, we can flare directly up to our rushing spot, and then you can throw your smoke straight away. Straight after that we can launch our hero, and that should all be under smoke, and then we can see this path that they're going to take. They're going to split to the left of this flamethrower here, and right. So we need to make sure that all of the smokes are really accurate, especially when we're getting right into machine gun and flamethrower territory now. And then throw those last 3 smokes as quickly as you can, like all at the same time ideally, just to just accounted for the spread. I mean, you only need the last two at the same time, really. But if you got to throw them all, why not throw them all at the same time? That being said, you could throw your third to last one and then your two last ones at the same time. And that'll give you a little bit more time to think about your shocks. You don't actually need, if you look at the spread of where the Zukas are right now, you technically don't need two smokes, but they do spread slightly differently depending on the spread of the Zukas because of, not depending on the spread, depending on the tagged defenses around. Because we tagged a bunch of these defenses, some of the Zukas are going to be in range of different buildings, which will have different values of tag. So they're going to aim for particular ones. So you want to either flare really quickly and stay under one smoke, or just double smoke. It's a really low GBE hit, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would just double smoke usually, because if you do lose the delay or that laser fires, then that's pretty much the hit over. You need to be able to get these two shields generators down, otherwise you're costing your team a hit. So I normally just go for a double smoke, but the options are there. Weigh up the risk versus reward. And now, right, let's look at the shocks. Let's just get them out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see this bottom shock has the 4 flamethrowers and 2 machine guns. There's one shock. And then we've got these 6 items, the rocket launchers through to laser beam and machine gun. And then we've got the 2 machine guns, 2 rocket launchers and 2 flamethrowers. That's all in one shock. And 4 machine guns in the main part, but we also got those flamethrowers. Obviously depends on what's around, but you can utilize like something like this where you've got 4 defenses and then 2. You can definitely hit that shock. You're not going to shock any girls if you do it correctly. Most of the shocks are just a nice easy 2x3 shock. So those ones are pretty easy. The order of your shocks, they're all really close to the beach, but a little bit of a distance from your gunboat, so remember how long that's going to take. It's always better to shock slightly early than slightly late, because you can do a lot more damage with all your Zukas with the shock active, rather than trying to drag out that delay or anything and then having like 3 Zukas in under 10 seconds of shock. So yeah, the shocks are there. They will change from time to time. Like this could be a machine gun and it might be in range, in which case you would have to do like this 6 shock, but do it on this side. So do these 2 machine guns and these to the rocket launcher. For example, you could do that. But you just need to balance it up. It's usually about 4 shocks. What was that? 5 shocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 shocks. And this one you can do more, just depends on what's around. So let's see how it goes. And then we got 1, and then as soon as that second salvo is already in the air, we want to have that flare out, and the flare drops, and then we can get our next 2 shots on that one. That flare was even a little bit late. And then it doesn't matter, we just let our Zukas die. They can pick up 1 or 2 defenses just for the extra GBE. As soon as the defense dies, you want to be dropping those grenadiers as quickly as possible. Not to the detriment of being able to get that flare out, as long as you got that flare out. But as soon as that shield goes down, that flare becomes inactive and you can drop your grenadiers. If you drop them beforehand, when you flare that shield, they'll obviously try and get to that flare. So here I use critters on the cannons, probably didn't need to. Everything from now on is just going to be bonus. We drop grenadiers because we know that they can outrange cannons and machine guns. We dropped them nice and low on the beach so we didn't get too far up in these guys' grill. Sometimes these right shield generators will be done in the first hit, other times they might, the left shields might need to be done first. So you might not even be able to launch greens on the beach. We were just trying to think about the next attack. If you can afford it, then definitely try and help out the next attacker. And you should be noting for that same thing. And if anything needs done before your left shield generator hit, obviously get on top of that in your notes. So here we're just clearing out anything that we can with our grenadiers. We're using our GBE efficiently. We cleared out these mines down for the core rush. You might want to try and bard out a section of defenses by the core, and that will save you a shock later on. So if you took out those three by using the corner art, you could then just do one shock on here and then some shocks for the rocket launchers, and you'd be away. So there we go. Gonna run out of time. We said that we didn't want to tag any of the machine guns and other things because we don't want to ruin the spread for the next player. So that's real true. And let's have one last look before we wrap this one up. So here we go. Got to clear the mines. So one art between the two sets of two mines. And then we got one barrage. Noting that we are tagging the world right now. So when our Zookas do arrive, they're going to spread a little weird. They're not going to sort of stay right by that flare. Then we're going to do a perfect 2-smoke landing with as many boats as required. Obviously, the more you take, the less the risk of not having the damage, but the more risks that you have of peaking and losing delay or losing Zookas. Then we get to our spot under a double smoke or a single smoke, using battle orders with 4-5 smokes, 4-5 shocks. Any more than that, and you're sort of getting a little bit too ahead. You might have to try a different approach. And there we go. We're just going to be clearing mines, helping out the next attackers, and that'll do it for this video. Be sure to comment down below if you take out the front left shields any differently, like the green hit that we've got in the playbook as well. And give us a thumbs up to like the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for more Boom Beach.